So thanks for joining us today. I'm going to be talking here with Katie today about how we've partnered with Headspace on their App Store optimization strategy with a real focus on our localization and creative strategy as well. But first off, just to introduce ourselves, Katie, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Katie Desmond. I am a senior media manager at Headspace, where I lead our growth media function. And that covers channels like the App Store, influencers, affiliate, podcast, CTV, audio. And my main focus at Headspace is on identifying new performance levers to unlock new growth and revenue potential. So that could be testing into new channels, new audiences, new markets. And that's a lot of what we do in the App Store that we'll be talking a little bit more about.
Nice. And yeah, I'm Lauren Park. I'm the global head of ASO at M&C Saatchi Performance. I'm based in the London office, and I've worked there for 7.5 years now, doing all things App Store optimization. So anything from keyword optimizations, A/B testing, custom product pages, and a lot of the stuff that we do with Katie at Headspace as well. And obviously, I'm sure you all know who Headspace are, but Katie, do you perhaps want to go through in a little bit more detail about what you do at Headspace and who Headspace are?
Yeah, so Headspace at a quick glance is a global mental health app that helps users care for their minds. Most people know us for our meditation content, but we have a whole host of offerings from guided exercises and courses to CBT programs and clinical therapy. And it's all focused on addressing our users' common need states. So things like sleep, stress, anxiety, focus. We have an abundance of resources no matter where people are in their mental health journey. And we've worked with MC Saatchi Performance for the past couple of years to really bring this to life in the App Store.
Nice. And yeah, I'm obviously from M&C Saatchi Performance, and we help brands like Headspace, but we are a full funnel performance marketing agency. So that's offering services like programmatic, creative, commerce media, as well as ASO. And we were one of the first mobile first agencies as well. So we know a lot about the space and app marketing, given our heritage in mobile and helping to kind of unlock growth for our clients as well. But today what we're going to cover is 4 kind of main areas, mainly to do with kind of localizing the storefronts and why that's crucial for a brand like Headspace, but also how we harness those cultural nuances in things like A/B testing and uncovering what works best for different audiences, but also how we tailor the storefronts from a paid media perspective and improving the efficiency there, as well as then how we translate that into organics as well with custom store listings. But to just start with what ASO is, or App Store Optimization, there's essentially 2 parts to this. So we have the discoverability side, making sure that clients such as Headspace are discoverable within the stores organically and that people who are searching for specific keywords are finding the app. But then also translating that into, once they land on the App Store page, making sure that the page is converting those customers. So through a lot of A/B testing, we're able to kind of influence the conversion rate in that way. And there's a lot of different elements that we can test. So you'll see on the left-hand side is a visualization of the iOS App Store, and on the right for Google Play. And a lot of the levers we have available to us can either influence discoverability or conversion. So you can see the things in blue are impacting more of the discoverability side, and things in black, the conversion. And these are the levers we have available to us. And I think what's really key as well is that we have this available per market as well. So you can tailor the storefront for those different markets as well.
Yeah, and that localization piece is really important for a brand like ours. Nearly 60% of our audience falls internationally, though we do skew to the US. Countries like the UK, Germany, Canada, France are a healthy portion of our audience and really important for us to continue to grow. So we in the App Store have created bespoke listings by each of these core markets, where we are optimizing both the metadata and the creative, even down to like regional differences. So an example being Canada, we have both an English and a French store listing. And the way we were really able to get here is through iterative App Store testing. We knew that we didn't want just translations of our US storefront, especially knowing that search habits and even the usage of our app really differs by market. So App Store testing really allowed us to understand the best approach and what those nuances by market were that we should be taking into account.
Yeah, and I think what's really key as well is that localizing by markets isn't just a nice to have. We can see the data really signals that it's very, very important. And we have an example of a test that we've run with Headspace on the app icon. So something you think is as simple as an app icon can actually have huge impacts on your conversion rate. So working with the Headspace design team, we were able to test different icons. Obviously, we have to be really careful. We have to fit within the brand guidelines, making sure that it's still recognizable. But what you'll see on the far left was the control, which was the simple dot in the Headspace colors, which is very recognizable in itself, but we wanted to test adding the element of the smiling dot, which is also recognizable to the Headspace brand. So we tested two very, very similar variants. One was a round smiling dot, one was a square smiling dot. Obviously, with the square smiling dot, the orange background would cover the whole of the icon. And despite it being quite a small, simple test, we found really significant changes between markets. So we tested this across the US, UK, and Canada. And what we found was very, very similar results across the US and UK, with the round smiling dot performing significantly better than the control. Whereas in Canada, we found that the square smiling dot performed better. And I think we've gone on to then to continue and iterate on these tests and build on this. And even with future testing, we're finding differing performance across US and UK, despite the similarities here. And that's why it's really, really crucial to continue to test and not just assume what's going to work well in one and works in the other. So yeah, seen great results there.
Awesome. Something we also know is that users are coming to the App Store typically when they're in a specific moment of need. So it could be trouble sleeping, stress at work. So we've really centered our paid efforts, especially our paid search efforts, to targeting these moments to reach them at that specific right moment. But one of the challenges for us was really showing the depth of offerings we have within each particular topic or pillar. Our App Store does a really great job of showing the breadth of offerings, but when someone was coming to us from a sleep ad, we wanted a way to be able to show all the different facets of our sleep offering in that moment for the user.
And that's exactly where custom product pages and custom store listings come in. So essentially, this is where you can create different versions of your App Store page. So on iOS, it's custom product pages, and on Google, it's custom store listings. And you can differentiate them by different things. So for instance, on Google, you can tailor the creative, so the screenshots, you can have a different icon, you can change the messaging. And again, this is where we can really tailor the messaging and the content based on kind of where the user is coming from. So at an ad level, kind of the sleep example, sending them to the page that represents that as well. And with Apple, there's kind of less that we can tailor, but we can do things like screenshots. And again, it's still very, very impactful. And I think the main use case being tying it to paid campaigns. So in particular, custom product pages can be tied to your Apple search ads campaigns, where you can run it against certain keywords. And again, kind of increase the relevancy based on what people are searching for, with the aim of driving improved conversion rate for your customers.
Yeah, and this has really been a game changer for us. With the use of CPPs and CSLs, we've been able to design a lineup of custom listings focused on each of the top core need states of our users to really align with the paid media strategies and create that more seamless user experience. So now when a user comes to the App Store from any of these app or ad groups, they will see a slate of screenshots that's specific to whatever need they are currently in market for. So it'll be a more in-depth overview of that offering in particular, the relevant RTBs for their current need. And each of these custom listings have a look and feel of their own to really bring them to life and align with our creative best practices. And we've seen that tailoring this experience has really driven measurable success for us. Our average cost per install for these CPPs are 25% more efficient, and the conversion rate is 26% higher. The formatting got a little off there, but 26% higher than ads driving to our main store listing.
And there's been a really big update. So custom product pages and custom store listings have been around for a while, but last year Google updated their functionality for custom store listings, and they now allow you to target organic keyword searches, which again is a big game changer. So again, now we can kind of tie specific pages based on the organic searches that people are doing within the Play Store. And the idea, again, increasing that visibility on the Google Play Store and making sure that you're showing up for different products. We worked very closely with Headspace to build a custom store listing for Sleep Week. So this came from the Headspace team. They wanted to really surface their sleep-related content in time with Sleep Week. And this then came down to kind of building unique screenshots and creative across the board. So not only did we focus on things like the screenshots, they implemented a new icon, feature graphic, and everything was cohesive. And from our side, we then did a lot of research into what sleep-related keywords we should be targeting. So within your Google Play console, for the most part, you can see some data around where your installs and traffic is coming from at a keyword level. So we analyzed that, looked at where, what core keywords we wanted to rank for from a search volume perspective as well, and then really built a bespoke copy listing as well. So a bespoke title, short description, and long description, not necessarily neglecting the rest of the Headspace content, but really focusing at the forefront the sleep-related content. And the results really speak for themselves. So when we measured this, we looked at a period of 7 weeks before and after the CSL went live. We saw an increase of traffic associated with the sleep-related keywords, but what was really great to see was an almost 50% uplift in the installs coming from these sleep keywords. And that was all down to the impact of the conversion rate uplift. So by implementing this custom store listing, we saw a 26% uplift in the conversion rate. And this is organic. And obviously the idea being that this can have a knock-on influence on your rankings for keywords as well, because your ability to rank for keywords, you have to demonstrate to the algorithm that you can convert on those keywords. And by improving the conversion rate in this way, it's signaling to the algorithm that you are relevant. So over time, this can be a really great keyword strategy as well if you're struggling with particular core keywords. And I think kind of just overall, the kind of themes, whether this is across localization or the custom listings, I think the key theme throughout is that relevancy piece and making sure that you're showing the right content and the right storefront to the right users at the right time. And some of the kind of key takeaways we would like you to take away today, obviously, don't make any assumptions about your audience. Make sure that you're analyzing your data, looking into where your highest value customers are coming from, but then making sure that you're testing those localized storefronts as well. Again, don't make any assumptions. A lot of the A/B testing we run kind of defies our assumptions. Definitely make sure you're running those tests in each localized markets and build your learnings that way.
Yeah. And then lastly, really using that custom store listing to support your paid efforts and directly speak to your users' behaviors can really drive resonance and increase the likelihood of a conversion. And I think we talked faster than we meant to, so we actually have time for questions if there are any. If not, or if you think of any later, you can reach out to either myself or Lauren after the fact, or catch us after the session. There's loads more testing that we've done throughout our partnership, so we'd love to talk more about it. And thank you guys so much for coming along.
Thank you.